Morning, wherever you are in the world, coming to you live from South Florida. This is Ryan Brock, your podcast host for the DigiMarCon podcast, and I am so excited to be here at DigiMarCon Florida 2024. It is hot, it is muggy, but it's nice and cool inside. And we spent the morning hearing from some really great speakers, including a man whose mellifluous voice is reminiscent of my own, I believe, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Mr. Randy Reyes, president of Outgrow in Jacksonville, Florida, pretty close to home. How are you, Randy?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
So we've been circling each other at DigiMarCons for a while now. How is it to be in your home state here doing the DigiMarCon thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great event. There's the cool thing about DigiMarCon is you get people from all types of sections and functions within marketing.
Yeah.
So you get content, you get advertising, you get SEO, and so that variety is cool. That you get to see a wide range. It's not just one vertical, so you get more breadth and more variety.
I agree 100%. There's a lot of people who have spent a lot of time getting really good at certain things in marketing, and marketing is a weird industry. We all have to be, jacks of all trades. So tell us a little bit about your presentation. You gave your session. Yours was the last one of the first morning batch, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the session was about basically how to use different tools as part of your marketing. And so you might have seen common examples would be like HubSpot built ChatSpot. And the idea behind that was they wanted to basically build a tool for their customers to help with their own marketing.
Yeah.
And they basically built a free tool which allowed you to pull data from the CRM and from the marketing automation tool that they have with all this data. But now you could do it in a much more communicative and chat interface.
Yeah.
And you can ask it what are my statistics for this country? What are the statistics? What are the trend lines for this region? And you can kind of see certain data that would be nearly impossible to pull alone. You'd need a data analyst or it'd be much more work to generate a report that now you can do quickly and with chat. And so that change is really cool.
It's super cool. We've talked a lot on this podcast about AI, obviously, and how it can change, creative endeavors. For example, I'm in product. I lead a product at a software company, so of course we talk about things that we can do now that with less human engineers than we used to do. But I haven't really thought much about how restrictive just knowing Excel can be or BI tools can be. Right. And I'm imagining myself as someone who's not the best in the world with that stuff, but knowing that, the data I want is there, it's already there. I just need to know how to get at it. I'd imagine that's a transformative thing for marketers.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea behind it is each business has basically what companies are doing is they're basically thinking, okay, my business does X, Y, Z, right? It could be you have a software company, it could be you have a consulting company, whatever you're doing. Those customers have certain challenges that they're facing. And some of those challenges you solve in your product. Some of those challenges might be adjacent to your product where you can build a tool, like a small tool that's helpful, but you give it for free in the mindset of that's your marketing cost.
Yeah.
And so you're building tools not for, so they're basically it's kind of like a freemium model, but instead of the free version being your own product, being an adjacent product. And that's what people are trying to do in marketing is you build an adjacent mini tool that might take a few weeks to build, and now it can now it's faster to build. And the idea is that it's a good way to market your core product.
It just sounds like another version of the lean model, right? Of just let's get something spun up quick. Let's solve a really specific problem.
Right.
And I'd imagine for marketers and for product people, both. This is Texpo and DigiMarCon, so I love this conversation. But I'd imagine the ability to sort of put something out for free because it didn't take a lot of resources to put together, and then watch how people use it and learn from that is super, super important and valuable.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is is that it requires this intersection of marketing and technology and an understanding of customer, that you kind of need these people to come together, tech, product, marketing, to come say, oh, okay, this is an opportunity that we have that we can kind of execute on. And the reason why the fact that it's hard is actually good because marketing now is so anyone come up with ad copy or come up with a graphic or come up with creative. And so it's much harder now to distinguish yourself. So basically you have your core content, your SEO, your blog, and then with advertising, it's much harder now. It's just much more expensive and it's getting harder. So this is This is one
It's
way of saying
optimized to the max. Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like 2024. It's like at a point now where it's like, okay, you need to do something that's hard, and that's why it's like, oh, this is like product and marketing and technology, and it's hard to do, and it can be useful to the customer. So the fact that it's hard to do is just makes it a bit more unique. But the fact that it's useful to the customer is where you actually get the value in the market of that tool.
Yes. Yes. That is really, really well put and very thought provoking. Man, the idea that it's so easy to produce today, and that means your job is harder. That's not how a lot of people are characterizing things.
Right.
But I think, like, I've been saying that as well for a long time now, that, like, just take content creation, for example. If everybody has access to the same AI tools that you have access to, it's not an advantage in and of itself. I mean, that's how I've always thought about it. It's only an advantage if you know how to use it to get to the thing nobody else is getting to.
Right.
And that's what I'm hearing you say, which makes me feel good about what I'm trying to do as well.
Right.
Yeah, the idea that, like, you've got to have something nobody else has, and a lot of times you're going to get access to that through better data management and data science is very compelling to me.
Right.
What are some of the tools that you're seeing out there that are offering these kinds of benefits the best?
Right. Yeah. So a lot of people talk about kind of Wayfair's tool, which is where you take a picture or a video of a room, and then it will tell you what style you want to decorate the room with, and it's basically interior design AI. So you take a picture and it says, hey, this is how I would decorate the room with this style, this style, and this style. What do you like? And you can choose what you like. And then once you choose the ones you like, and you can give it some direction, it then tells you this is where you can buy every item in the room. And so now, because Wayfair sells furniture, it's a much better. They're thinking more about, oh, our core product is the furniture sale. They make money on the sale of furniture. This is a tool their marketing team built that's not related to the actual sale of the furniture. It's related to the design portion of designing your room. And as part of designing your room, this is the furniture you would need, and we can help you buy that. And so that is like a really cool example of a tool that you would originally think, oh, this is like a technology tool, but it's used for marketing.
I mean, this is no different than content marketing. It's just people today have access to technology that allows them to like software market. Yeah, exactly. That's really compelling. Yeah. I think I haven't used it yet, so I might be ignorant on this, but I have one of the Apple Vision Pros.
Right.
And I think I saw IKEA has a similar app now where you can spatially sort of like plan out where everything goes and then really quickly build your list and go. Yeah. Exactly. I think I saw Gucci did something similar where it's like a 20-minute immersive thing about their new like design lead's first show, and it felt more like a game or some sort of immersive VR experience than an advertisement.
Right.
Although it was totally just an advertisement. Right. But yeah, that's fascinating. Now, if I'm a marketer that's internal at a company somewhere, what am I doing with this information? Like, what can practically I do to change what I'm doing?
Yeah. So what I did in the presentation was I tried to go through and give people ideas and try to help people come up with, these are things you can do. But the first thing I would do is try to figure out the ideation phase, right? What ideas can you come up with that makes it relevant? And then the next one is to go through like the execution. Is it even feasible for you to execute on it? Do you have the staff to do it? If you don't have the staff to do it, like what we've done internally is obviously we have a tool that makes it faster and easier for us to do this without any technical skill. So, and the tool doesn't cover 100% of use cases, but it covers a subset. So that's what we do internally is you can basically look at the market, look at the ideas, and for each idea you can say, can this be done with an existing tool, right? Where you don't need to write any code. So what we've done at Outgrow is we said, we're going to focus on certain types of ideas, and we're going to make it easy for you to build without writing any code and as a marketer. And so those ones are going to be much cheaper, much easier, much faster. But some of the ideas you come up with are not going to be possible to do with Outgrow if it's a really complicated idea. Or you're trying to build a tool that's much more advanced. Not all of them are going to be able to be done with these tools. Then in that case, you're going to need to think, okay, do we have enough tech people on staff to do it? Or are we going to hire someone to help us do it? Or do we not have the budget and we're going to have to stick to maybe a simpler idea that we can do with a tool that's like a SaaS software? So that's the kind of decision making that's happening right now, is where people are basically deciding between first coming up with ideas, and then for each idea saying, can this be done with an Outgrow or with a software tool, or do I have to hire someone?
Very interesting. So how long do you think we have? Last question, and then I'll let you go. How long do you think we have before AI gets to a point where every marketer feels like sort of they're managing their own whole department of people, like technology that's building these sorts of resources for themselves? I mean, I'm imagining a future where in just a couple of years, developing a product like that might be as easy as just asking my virtual agent to do it for me and it's
Right.
done. I mean, do you think that we're that close to that? I mean, are marketers going to have to be more experts in AI than they are whatever they're doing in the
Yeah.
future? I guess is the question I'm asking.
Well, I think in a long enough time horizon, we'll think of AI similar to the way we kind of think of, I believe, the way we think of even electricity. So, like maybe 100 years ago, we had a chief electricity, and every company had a chief electricity person who was like managing the electricity, making sure we had enough power coming in, and there was like a person who managed it. And so we're basically now in the stage where we're going into companies hiring chief AI officers, right? AI leaders, and that's the next phase. And then in a long enough time horizon, it disappears, and we don't even need people. Then AI will be the way we think of electricity, where we don't have like this whole event doesn't have an electricity power person because the venue has figured out like the has a relationship with a power plant that's giving them power, and there's not all these like the original complexities have been taken away. So in the long enough time horizon, I think it'll happen, but I think it's going to happen in many phases. It's not going to happen overnight. So it's going to be next phase is going to be, oh, we're like actively managing AI. Then it's going to be we're like passively overseeing the AI, and then over time the AI becomes so good that it doesn't even need the oversight.
Yeah, I mean that's the promise of it, right? Like I
Yeah.
think what makes AI different from all these other tech advances we've seen in our lifetimes is that uh, after a certain point, the learning curve doesn't exist. You don't need to become technically proficient in order to use the technology, and as it gets better, it's just going to get easier and easier to do. Well, Randy, this has been a very interesting conversation. Tell me how people can find you online if they want to connect.
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn, Randy. You can just search Randy Outgrow or Randy Reyes. And my email is randy@outgrow.co, and our website is outgrow.co.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Stay tuned, people. We'll be back with another guest here at some point. I'm about to speak on the live stream, so if you're watching that, check that out. And